So, folks, we are 3 minutes on the top of time. Let people join. Everyone is welcome to join whenever they want. But for now, welcome to you all. And to begin with, this is a session not for Rahul, Christelle, and Anindita. This is a session for all of us, where all of us get to share, reflect, question anything that they want to. And hence, it would be lovely if you all can come on camera, if possible. If possible, please do come on camera so that you can talk and contribute as much to the session as us. The session is meant in such a way that we can share our thoughts on some of the questions that we get a lot and some of the thoughts that we really wish we could share, and also to answer or reflect on any of the things that you have in your mind. So hence, it's your space as much as ours, and it would be lovely if you can come and stay on camera as well. So to begin with, let me introduce myself. My name is Anindita Mukherjee. I am a professional certified coach of ICS. Other than that, for the past 1.5 decades, I have been working with organizations and individuals in various people development capacities, which include training, consulting, counseling, mentoring. And when I started coaching, I really saw the power of coaching, how it helps people transform, not just from the outside, but from the inside. Why? Because in coaching, all the wisdom that is inside of people comes outside of them. You know, they can actually implement in their lives whatever is inside of them. And coaching is that relational space where these developmental goals and solutions are co-created. So that is coaching. And overall, my purpose is actually to help people be authentic and empowered in whatever role they are in so that they can thrive. And that is exactly what coaching does. When a lot of things are told to them, or they have to live by a role, a GD, whether it is a professional role, a personal role, what happens is that they are living from the outside. They are not living, being who they are, and coaching exactly enables them to do the same, to live as who they are, be authentic, live from within. And so that is my personal purpose of being a coach and doing this session, being in front of you today. And it's lovely, again, to have all of you. And I have two wonderful panelists with me who are also coaches. To begin with, I have someone who, the first time I met her, before a long time, several years back, the comment that I had to make on her was, wow, what a smile, what a laughter. You know, your laughter speaks of success. So to talk more about this success, what's behind this success, I would like to welcome Christelle, who's based in Toronto, Canada.
Thank you so much, Anindita. And yes, I remember you making that comment the first time we met. So thank you so much again for that very, very beautiful comment. So I'm Christelle Soto-Suarez. So I live in Toronto, Canada, but I'm actually French. So I moved around and I call myself a self-leadership awakener. And that's because I'm all about that leadership of ourselves that we all have within us. We are born with it, but so often it gets pushed down by life, to keep it simple. And my mission with becoming a coach is to inspire, support, and empower middle managers, especially those who feel stuck and unseen, to take small but meaningful actions toward that better life, better career that I think we all want in one way or another, and to do that without the overwhelm. And that's really based on, so before becoming a coach, I spent 25 years in the construction industry. So doing something very different. So construction industry, corporate world, moving around, so international career. And I was a middle manager. So I know that position of being stuck between the big bosses and young people coming into the industry, and the lack of support that middle managers receive or don't receive, basically. And really my focus, my style of coaching, it's about getting to do practical and action focused steps. So it's all about doing the small things. Let's do something, even if it's very small, rather than being afraid by the big change we need to do and then not starting anything. So now I will let Rahul introduce himself.
Thank you, Christelle.
I would come to Rahul. Rahul, I'm faulting you, sorry. But I really still want to know a little bit more, Christelle, about what made you want to become a coach from that constructs.
Okay, so I was going to talk about that later on. I think we have a question more related to that, Anindita. It's up to you how you want to structure the event, but yeah, I don't want to say everything all at once.
Okay, sure. So let's get to Rahul then. Okay, Rahul is someone who's Rahul is based like me in India, Chennai, India. He's in, and Rahul is someone, when I met him for the first time, of course, he looks like a young guy, and you would expect, there's this stereotype that a lot of people feel, that young people, they have not gone through a lot, they are inexperienced. And sometimes people try to count experiences through years in the industry. But Rahul has all those experiences. His wisdom comes from somewhere different, through his personal challenges in life. That was life-altering for him. And I would love to hear that and more from Rahul, who's my other all wonderful panelist. Yes, Rahul.
Thank you, Anindita, for that warm and wonderful introduction. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everybody who's joined us. Thank you so much for taking your time. What to say about me is, in the professional space, yes, I just recently got my credential in the month of January as an associated certified coach. And I have coached students, college students, not school students, college students, and they had a lot of coaching to be done on motivation, confidence, stress management, anxiety, and also certain startup founders, certain executives, and have facilitated sessions for corporates as well. So my coaching journey began about 2 years back. I had understood the importance of coaching through the dark side of life. That showed me how one must cross that, or one can cross that if you accept it. And acceptance is a part of growth, not stagnating without accepting. So that's when I underwent coach training and met wonderful people like Anindita and others. That kind of resonated a lot with them, that kind of felt a deep insight from their perspective. And with the other people who also I coach, I tell them that I'm not afraid of sharing anything vulnerable. I'm not afraid of people judge or think or whatever they want, because their thoughts, their decisions, whatever they say is not in my control. And I mostly focus on inner peace, and I leave it at that. So that has made me also walk away from some personal and professional relationships. Apart from that, on the personal side, I'm a long distance biker or motorcyclist. I love swimming. I love the waters. I like to play. I was a basketball player in school and college, and a badminton player, so into sports. And I love to write poetry. I was a pet parent. Looking forward to get to a furry friend soon. And as we move on to the session today, hope you all have a nice time. And Back to you, Anindita. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rahul, and thank you so much, Crystal. And thank you so much again. Some of you have joined in between, like when we were speaking. So, welcome to you all. We would love to hear anytime from you, anytime you want to share a reflection or a question. Please feel free to raise your hand, come on camera if possible, like stay on camera if possible. We would love to see your faces as well. But it's okay if that's a little bit problematic. We always are not in a situation to do that. But if you will, please stay on camera. And anytime you want to speak, please let us know. And so, coming to what I was already asking to Crystal. Crystal, you were in that corporate career, you were successful, and all of a sudden, what occurred to you that made you think, okay, I want to become a coach? What is so great about being a coach?
Okay, so it wasn't all of a sudden. It took a few years. So you get into a career. I was lucky enough to get many different opportunities. So I really got the diversity that I was looking for in my career. But I still got to a stage where, let's say, it was time to do something else, to keep it simple. And for me, this happened about after 20 years of working. There's no time frame for that. It can happen after 2 years or after 50. But I think a lot of us get to that stage. Oh, I think I need to do something else. And then the big question, but what? And in my circle, I didn't have anybody to help me with that question. A lot of people around me were, once you're in a career, you kind of follow what's next in that career, and that's how things are done. So there was no support, nobody really to ask. I didn't have the right environment for that, so I went on what I called a discovery journey. Thank you, YouTube. That was pre-COVID, but YouTube was very helpful to show me what other people were doing and get some ideas. And that's where I started to hear about coaching. So I went and Googled coaching, and I got different definitions, and they were contradictory. Coaching, mentoring, consulting was all mixed up, very confusing, until I found the ICF definition. So I find the ICF definition very beautiful, but very difficult to pronounce. For me, it's not a sentence I would say as I speak. I actually can't repeat the definition. But it really attracted me. I think what I understood out of it is that coaching was about empowering people to empower themselves, to follow their life, to go for what they want in life, based on whatever circumstances they have, of course. So I thought, okay, that's what I need. That's what I need to find my way forward. I need to find a coach. So I went on the internet and kind of, okay, well, how am I going to sort that out? And really, I wasn't in the right state of mind at the time to really do trial and error with coaching. So I looked around a bit, got confused, a lot of executive and leadership coach, and I wasn't that. I wasn't really impressed by my senior leaders either, so I wasn't attracted to that. So I decided, let's train myself. Then maybe I can coach myself. And it's really through that training that I realized that's what I wanted to do. I want to help people empower themselves. I want to see more people go for what they want rather than go, and I'm going to really simplify here, get on some tracks and just follow the tracks. Let's be on a road, and a small road, and take a detour if we want. So that's really what brought me to coaching, and the type of coaching I do was really linked to me reflecting on, okay, I've got coaching skills now. What do I do with them? How do I use my past experience? How do I make the connection? And that's where I got to working more specifically with middle managers, because that's my experience. That's where I felt stuck, basically. And I see that senior leaders, there's coaching for them, companies provide support, but the middle people, we are there to do the work, not so much support for ourselves. So that's really how I got into coaching, and why I like it. It's going back to empowering people to follow their path. Yes, we have circumstances. Yes, we can't do everything we want. And yes, it is not easy, but it's not a reason to just fall on a track that we don't like. if you like the track you're on, that's perfect. But if you don't, let's do something about it. So that's my story with coaching. And I hope you're happy now, Anindita.
Mm, mm. Thank you for sharing that lovely journey. Quite a few things you said, and let me catch them properly. So, firstly, how you defined coaching, empowering people to empower others.
Can I cut you off here, Anita? Because I actually have
Please.
another definition, which I think speaks more to people who don't know coaching. And for me, coaching, it's simply a personal and professional development technique like education, training, books. But it's all about me as a client without leaving me on my own with my thoughts going around in circle in my head and going nowhere, and providing me with that accountability to take those next steps. So that's how I would define coaching for people who haven't got a clue what coaching is. Don't get confused by all the different interpretations out there. Only it's a development technique. That's what it is. So you can go back and Indita. Sorry for cutting you off.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Please feel free to do that. And I'm saying this to all of you. So, yes, lovely definitions. I think one of the things that we need as coaches is to let people know what coaching really is. And thank you for those wonderful definitions. And the other thing that you said was, okay, I have been doing this for some time now. Now I need something else. Now, this part is so important because I feel that when we are beginning our career, we do not know what exactly we want to do. But then we think once we find that career, we are going to feel sorted for our entire lives. Many of us feel that way. But then there's another phase of our life when it actually feels that we are all sorted and we are in a good position. We are doing okay with health, family is okay, financially we are doing great. And if we just keep on going, we are probably going to do even greater stuff. But that is not how it happens. These days, I keep getting a lot of clients who are in that age range of, let's say, 45 to 60. And all of them come and say this, I want something else. But again, when we scratch below the surfaces a little bit, like why something different? It seems there is something much deeper over there. There's a lot of dissatisfaction over there. So if people get disconnected from their purpose and to go on to the next stage of life, they need to reconnect to themselves. And while Christelle chose this time to become a coach, any other person may or may not want to be a coach. They may want something else, or they may want to continue their corporate career or whatever they are doing. But they still need to find that inner healing and that inner that reconnection there. Also, there's also a lot of disconnection they feel with people around them, as if there's an image. There's an image that they have to live by in front of their grown-up children, in front of their subordinates, in front of their colleagues, in their social network. Everyone wants to meet these very successful people. Everyone wants to be around them, but to none of them, this person can actually open themselves up. And it becomes so important that everyone, even if they don't become a coach, they get some coaching at this point in time and some deeper kind of coaching, not just, on the superficial level, but to go deeper into it. So thank you again, Christelle, for sharing that journey. I'm sure we are going to come back to a lot of things, but let's go to Rahul. Okay, Rahul, so you talked about a lot of your hobbies, and as we all know, you have your life experiences and everything. So
with all of that, what made you want to become a coach? When did it occur to you?
What made me want to become a coach, learning through all these experiences in life, I came to a point. Initially it was like, okay, what's happening to me? Why is this all happening to me? I started questioning, but why, went on to more of the why questioning. And then over time, I came to understand that I needed space to just be quiet, to just have someone listen to me and not share what they think would be the best suiting option for me, the best decision for me, be it family, friends, or other people. Once I realized that yes, this is something where many people do not have, they suppress it within themselves. And even if they talk to, they are interrupted. Talk to someone, they're interrupted, saying that I know better, I have a certification, so and so, and I can give you much more wisdom, much more suggestions. And they feel like I have not been, I don't feel heard. I'm not given that space to what's there inside me. I have to share that. I want to share that, but I'm being suppressed. In my corporate career for about 12 years, I have switched quite a few roles. Like, I've being an explorer. I started my career in the space of logistics and supply chain management. I was there in that domain and industry for about a good 8.5 years. Took a break, moved on to content writing for about a few months or a year, I think. Yeah. After that, came back to managing certain co-working spaces. So different spaces, different cultures, completely different, how would I say, this kind of diversity, inclusivity, and more than equality, I found that equity is something more important, because equality is like, for example, giving everyone a shoe, whereas equity is giving everyone a shoe that fits their sizes. When I realized all this and the challenges I went through, especially the one in 2021, and there were machines beeping around. I had needles for the IV in my arms and legs and thighs. Somewhere I found peace in pain because there was space, and even though there was all this beep noises going around, I didn't shout, I didn't cry. I did earlier, but later when I just came to this sort of surrender to what is happening, because the universe is going to bless me with abundance of goodness, abundance of happiness, prosperity, joy, everything. So in that space, I was like thinking, okay, if one person was going through all these, how would it be for them to provide a space just to listen, not ask sometimes, just to be sitting beside them, because that's what they want. And that triggered something in me where I started exploring what coaching is and is not. And from within, I was like, yes, this is something I want to do. This is something I want to, because not just I'm interested, not just that it's something financially will come, a greater purpose, I would say, with all these experiences and hearing stories from others as well. So connecting both, this is something, a space where fit me. And yeah, it has been great till now. The learnings, the ups and downs, embracing, and I would just like to say that I'm thankful and grateful for everything.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It is so powerful that if only there was someone who could listen. People go through a lot as if the solutions are just going to come out by themselves. Only if someone could be there. Only if someone could believe in you. Only if someone could believe that you are important. Thank you for sharing that. So, asking you both, Rahul and Christelle, now that you have become a coach, do you still like to get coached, or are you above it all now? Now you have become, a little bit godly. You have become godly in your life now that you have become a coach. How is it going?
Do you want to start, Rahul, since I started before?
Yes, Rahul can start.
Well, yes, I do still like to get coached, but I tell them that, I don't want something to do with competencies and the ethics as per ICF guidelines. But yeah, you have a real problem or a situation or a challenge. This is a safe, supportive, confidential space. We're going to have a dialogue. It's not going to be a one-sided session. And I'm not going to intervene, and until or any questions I ask, if you feel uncomfortable to answer, please let me know. And people who I want to get coached by are someone who are a level higher than me in the space of coaching, who have completed a lot of experiences and different verticals they have coached, and finally have chosen a great niche. They have found out that fits their uh, purpose, and how they align that with the clients, to their clients. So yes, I do like to get coached, and I also have sometimes seen that this is on a lighter note, that yes, coaches come to the session with a cup of coffee and they start drinking it. I mean, they don't ask me how you got your cup of coffee, on a lighter note. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't go by through any of these kind of, with all due respect, I don't go with any of these credentials. It's very, very important to have. I do understand, but when it comes to a coach, it's two human beings coming together. One who has undergone this coach training in the official formalities have been met. Secondly, is another person who is looking for a space to just be heard and not, told, basically. So if I want to be coached, I tell the coach, I am going to be the person. We both are going on a trek, and I have a map, and I go wherever I want, and you just follow me. Are you okay with that? So if they're okay, I say, great, let's start a conversation.
Thank you so much for sharing. What I'm hearing is more than competencies, what matters is connection. And I would like to add here, Rahul, and for all of you that, I think if we understand the competencies well enough, it is really about a more structured way, definitely, to get very grounded to the human being that you are. Many of us human beings have lost connection with many of our core human competencies. Trying to live a fast life, trying to live in a world where authenticity is not so much there. When we are trying to judge and make decisions, we are even wired to judge quickly and make decisions. We have lost that competency to just calm down, be quiet, and be present with another person. Just to listen, not just listen to the words that they are saying, to listen to the emotions, to the values, to listen to the purpose, to trust that person that's in front. So, all of these are exactly what's written in those competencies. How to become more human. And when we become more masterful coaches, we become more human. We start living those competencies in a more spontaneous way. Initially, it's like we have to recondition, rewire our brain to have those competencies again. If we are not habituated to listening, we have to rewire our brain to listen more, to stay calm, to be patient. But as you become a masterful coach, which are the MCC competencies, by the way, is that it has to be more spontaneous rather than, competency based, marker based, or whatever. So it is about becoming more human. So thank you so much. Now coming to Christelle. Christelle, do you love to get coached still now?
Yes, I do. And I think it goes back to the expression, and obviously I don't remember the proper expression in English right now, about the shoemaker being the one wearing the worst shoes. I think whatever your job is, I think we all have that issue. We know how to do it, but it's much harder to do it for ourselves. So yes, I do love to be coached, but I would say it has to be the right coach. Yes, coaching skills are very important, but I think for me, what is even more important is that I feel right with the coach. I feel that the coach is really listening to me without judging. And judgment is not just the word that people say, it's the way they even reply. For me especially, it's in the tone of the reply. And if I hear a hint of judgment, of opinion in that tone, I shut down. For me, it's very important to find the right coaches. And Anindita, we coach each other. We have that connection. I have a few others. but you have to find the right coach, whether you're a coach or whether you're just somebody looking for one. It's finding that right coach for you, and it's not just about the credentials or the experience. It's more than that. It's that connection that we have, and it's you don't know what it is, so it makes the search a bit more difficult. And really, what being coach provides me is, I think Rahul mentioned it, it's that space to pause, to reflect, that in our life, even as coach, we have this to do, then this happen, and we have the next appointment, so we move around. So having a coaching session is, okay, I can pause myself for the time of the session, so that's a great thing. And for me, I use a lot of my coaching sessions as a way to open new opportunities for me when I feel stuck. So having that conversation, trusting the person on the other side is really listening to me, and will follow up on questions based on what I say or what came up to their mind, and having no idea where the conversation is going. And I see Rahul is making head movements. I hope they're good ones. And yeah, so you start being stuck, and you're having a very open conversation. Those type of conversation you have with friends, you start somewhere and you have no idea how you ended, where you ended. And it's that, and you can't do it on your own. This is not something, I certainly can't. So that's why, even as a coach, I like to be coached by the right coach.
So Christelle also loves to get coached by the right coach. And what I hear is, again, you have defined, like Rahul, the right coach as someone who doesn't judge and who listens. Yeah, so yeah, that is coming up as something very strong, that we need a coach who is the right fit for us, who listens, who doesn't judge. And I would like to point out over here, like something that is really, really coming up for me is, once in one of my coaching sessions, this I have done multiple times, but in one of the sessions, this was the first time. So this coach was a learner coach, and as I was talking, I felt that he was holding some kind of judgment. And after the session, what I did was, I was wondering if I should tell him this, but I thought, okay, this is my space to be authentic. Why not? I said, hey, I would like to tell you something if you don't mind. So he said, sure. So I said, while you were coaching me, I felt from your body language that you are judging me a bit. Maybe it is not intentional. Maybe you have a different idea. Maybe you think things should be done in a different way. But, I saw a hint of judgment on your face. And something very magical happened, and it was a big learning for me, was we can make a difference as clients also to coaches. What the coach said was, yeah, okay, fine. So next day we again met, and he coached me. And after the session, he asked me, did you think, Anindita, today also I was judging you? So I said, absolutely not. You have really, really grown in that area. And so as clients also, we have some capacity to make changes to our coaches. And this is very important. This is very important to learn, because this is not just about influencing the coach. This is also influencing the people in our lives. We often think we cannot influence the people in our lives. The boss, the leader, the teacher, the parent, or whoever, the spouse, the friend, we cannot influence people. And that is where we have given away our power. And to get back our power, we have to learn to let people know how we are feeling in their presence. And coaching is a great space to start that. So thank you, folks, for sharing your experiences. Now, I shared my most important learning as a coach. So now I would like you to share, what are your most important learnings as a coach?
I'm happy to start this time. Yeah, I can
Please.
start. I would say for me that the biggest learning was really doing the coaching training, and that statement that coaching is not about fixing people. And that's really what I was after, that no, I'm not here to fix you. I don't know you actually, so how could I fix you? And you're not broken anyway. So that was a big learning, I think, through other education, more standard education. It's about, in a way, fixing us, telling us how to do things, telling us what the best way to do that or how it works. So it's all about being told things. Coaching is not. So that was a big learning for me. And the other one was the power of accountability, which I think we kind of know, but we don't really put a word to it. So yeah, that accountability of saying, I'm going to do that by next week, and having that session with the coach and reminding you, so have you done that? So those were two big learnings from my coaching training. And I would say the one I got from coaching is really adapting the coaching style to you, of course, but also to your clients. So for me, for example, I don't do the traditional 45 minutes or 1 hour one-on-one coaching session. I've made some adjustment based on my ideal clients, on who I work with. So I think that was a big learning for me, to realize, okay, there's different ways to do coaching. Let's find a way that works for me and my clients.
Mm. Thank you for sharing.
You're
So it
welcome.
happened during your coach training. Yes. So Rahul, what about you? What's your biggest learning as a coach?
As a coach, the first thing, this didn't happen in my coach training, but during peer coaching and even after peer coaching, when I got a few clients to coach, apart from the space of peer coaching, outside the space of peer coaching, it helped me understand, or rather, a journey from reacting to responding. That's what happened in peer coaching. I was listening to respond. And when it came to the space of outside the world of peer coaching, it moved me to a space of observation. Just observe, especially the whole entirety of the person, those words, slight movements in body language, and also what is unsaid. Think from the perspective of the client. So when I am with a client and just observing all these shifts and emotional shifts, mental, physical. So the journey from reacting to saying, no, I have to put my point across because I know I'm a coach, I'm more certified, I'm this, I'm that. Move to responding, where I gave the client space, and from responding, it moved to observing, where apart from the space, I also came to understand the power of a pause before sharing my insights with the client, or asking the next question based on what the client said, aligning what they said to what the session goal they brought for the session. So deeper exploration of the subconscious mind, I can say that changed. And it's a wonderful place to be, how so many things come out, so many things we don't know about ourselves, because we always have been either conditioned in a way for external validation. We always have to cross-check with someone. Am I doing this right? Am I doing that wrong? But you just hold that space and stillness and silence. So many things come up for them. They're like, hey, I'm going to take a minute to make a note of this. I never realized this was there inside me. How did you do that? How did you get this out of me? So I still remain silent, and they're like wondering what's happening. So yeah, that journey was something marvelous, thanks to coaching.
I'd like to say something about that power of silence. And I mean, as human, we have that tendency of wanting to, we don't like silence. We want to say something, but letting silence float and letting the client fill up that silence. Because they're uncomfortable with the silence, and they say something else, and they keep talking, and they go deeper into their reflection. So thank you very much for highlighting that, Rahul.
Mm. Mm. So important, such important points. How I see this is also, silence is one part of it. The other is probably managing ourselves in that point. The client is already getting in our emotionally unmanaged self, probably at that point. So someone has to hold ground for them to come back to themselves again. And it is a huge skill of a coach, I would say. It is a huge skill to learn because we keep mirroring people in our regular lives. If they are agitated, if they are shouting, we are shouting. If they are not talking, we are not talking. If they are judgmental, we are judgmental. But to show people, not tell people, but to show people that we can hold our grounds, that's a coaching skill, but that's also a superpower that each one of us can learn. And coaching is definitely a good space to learn that. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I want to continue this conversation for about 3 hours, but it seems we have only 10 minutes. It's 50 minutes already. And so, all of you, Sharon, Christina, Aniket, Partho, someone else is there. I cannot see your name. Would you like to say anything at this point in time? Any question, any reflection that you would like to share?
Thank you. I'll speak a moment. Thank you all for those powerful insights and your sharing. I'd like to hear more about what is unsaid. You sense that within the client and how you hold space for that. I can see silence is a way to hold space for what is unsaid, and it may be said. But if your coaching instincts tell you that's there, how do you work with that?
Could I take that? So during the mid of this, thank you for the question, Sharon. What I've learned and thought upon this, when it comes to the mid of the session, then there's a pause and they're exploring a particular thing, what they wanted to talk about. And then they say something, and then if somewhat my intuition tells me to ask me that question, and I do go ahead with that, and I ask, what are you hearing to and not listening to? So they come back again and saying, excuse me, I'm sorry, please repeat that. I said, what are you hearing to and not listening to? Because usually as coaches, we say, do you understand what I said? A client may think that, oh, this coach is not giving me the space to explore. He's asking me whether I have the capability to understand or not. But if it comes from the client, it's a safer space for the coach. It's not like, I'm not saying it's a battle or something unethical, but if it comes from the client, it's the client who's asking, because coaching is entirely the client's space. So can I take some time to think about this? Sure, please go ahead. And then they jot down. Some people like to visualize, some people like to listen to something and come back saying, yeah, this is what came through for me. That has worked, and also not just connecting that to the goal, but a deeper understanding about themselves. Like if I want my coach to help me move from my current state to my ideal state, I should also understand myself at a deeper level. And so many things within me may just be floating around, and I wouldn't have had the space to share it. I wouldn't have had the space to listen to myself. But hearing, like Anandita had earlier said, so many people are not talking to themselves, then come to talking to others. Self-reflection, self-talk, all that is slowly gone, unfortunately. So when this question has that kind, I felt that question has that kind of imbibing that, or facilitating some learning and growth from within.
I think what I would add to is, as coach, we have to accept that we can't go in every direction that are possible at any moment. We pick a direction for the conversation too. We choose to highlight one thing that a client said and not another one. So it's very much how you feel at the time. You hear that, and is it silence? Do you let the conversation go and you come back to that word later on? I think I'm learning it's kind of an instinct. You make a decision. It's a decision amongst maybe 10 others. You just pick one at the time without knowing why, because you don't have time to reflect on that. It's what you feel will help or sorry, not help, but support the client more. And you can't pick on everything that the client say every time, because it would probably would drive the clients mad. But it's kind of going with the flow, and you know you missed, in a way, you missed opportunities to develop certain things, but you can't develop everything. So it's how you feel at the time. Is it silence? Is it continuing the conversation where it was going? Is it picking up on that discrepancy, if you want? Is it coming back to it later, or saying at the end of the conversation, I noticed that, but I didn't feel it was right to maybe to continue to go that way today. Maybe we can go that way next time if you're interested. So there isn't a formula to decide what to do. One of my other big learning, you just act on instinct. You're having a conversation and you can't follow all the possible paths that conversation could take.
Yeah.
And it's just accepting
Sharon,
that's the way it is.
yeah, please go on.
I'm done now.
Yeah, okay. So Sharon, the question that you asked, thank you for that. And I think it opens up a very broad space, right? It is very contextual, as in, Percy, why are we perceiving that? Why is the client not saying what they are not saying? Sometimes it can be because of, like Krista said, they don't want to go in that direction today, which is fine. But there could be other possible reasons, like they are feeling embarrassed, uncomfortable, or they do not know how to say that. And in that space, I think I'm still learning how to be courageous enough to actually let the coach know that it is okay. It is a very skillful practice also to let the client know that it is okay to open up whatever it is there. And the other thing that I have seen why the client is not opening up is because they cannot really touch, as if something is happening on an emotional level, but they cannot touch, they cannot know what's the switch, they do not know what to say. And in that time, maybe we can use our intuition a little bit and figure out like what's really going on, and maybe help the client to explore deeper into what is unsaid at that point, if it helps them to, with permission, like, would you like to explore this part a little deeper, and then go from there. That is the case. So thank you, Sharon. Did we answer your question? Would you like to share any reflection here regarding this?
You did answer the question. And while the three of you were speaking, the word that came to me was courage. As a coach, the courage is important, and other things as well. I think part of what I was struggling with would be the courage to follow my instincts there.
Yeah, very important, very important. We have to learn that. When we first enter our coach training, what we feel is we only have to go along with the client and we have to just ask questions, and that eventually doesn't take us very long. We also have to share powerful reflections. We also have to see the contradictions that clients have in their own, whatever they are sharing. So whatever, it sometimes takes a lot of courage to do that, and to do that without breaking the relationship, to do that very skillfully and courageously. And that is a big learning that a coach needs to learn. Thank you, Sharon, for asking that. So Aniket, would you like to ask anything? Christina, Boria, I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly. Would any of you like to say anything? Okay. So we
Sorry, I'm
are
here.
Yes.
Some of us that are also at work, it's a bit complicated. But thank you so much for the vulnerability, for sharing everything. For me, it's very inspiring. I am working now on my PCC. I'll do it in a couple of weeks. So it was very motivating to hear your journeys. And I guess my only question would be, what's next for you? I would love to know, because as coaches, right, we always have something in our mind that we want to be working on, something to improve. So I'd love to know what's next for you.
What's next for you?
You want to start, Anindita?
I want to start. Okay. So what's next for me is, really, we have a lot of things to grow on. But for me, as I'm reflecting, it is about taking the power of coaching to people. It's not so much about MCC for me now. So yes, the skill building part will go on, but at the same time, to take the power of coaching to people. Many times, people are not very confident. To be a client, it takes a lot of confidence, which is why I had asked this question. Do you like to get coached? I love to get coached, and it makes me very confident to be able to open up. It takes a lot of courage to open up as a client. And a lot of people do not know that. And a lot of people do not know how to make the most of their coaching journeys, even if they do sign up for it, even if their organizations put them into it. How can they make the most of their journeys? So, to help people know all of these, to help people know how the human psychology and human connections are working in this, I think that is the next for me. So, yes, Crystal and Rahul,
I'll be
thank
very
you.
brief. For me, it's really looking at how I can bring coaching to those middle managers. That is not the traditional coaching that we learn in coaching training. It's finding a format that is diluted or infused, as I call it, but that gives them a taste of what coaching is, gives them an approach so that they can experience it and then decide whether they want to go deeper into it or not. But finding a way to really provide that experience to middle managers so that it works with their schedule and lifestyle.
What about Rahul?
So yeah, we have to, as a coach, we have to keep in mind that we have to always go to where the client is, and that's when the coaching starts. We don't have an agenda. The client brings up their agenda, and that's what makes coaching a beautiful conversation. It's just not going to, it's not about the sessions you have. Some people don't want more than four, some people want more than four. So all that is secondary, but the agenda really matters, and going to where the client is really matters. Dropping off all your credentials, designation, experiences, going to the root cause, and helping the client instigate or bring in, help them to empower their inner potential and find the solutions and be a listening partner, a sounding board in their journey of self-discovery.
That was a very interesting question. Borja, is it? I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's Borja from Spain.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So, did we answer your question? And like, what would you reflect? What would be your reflection takeaway from this discussion, Korea?
Only one. I think that you touched on basically all the core competencies of coaching, but from personal view. So the presence, the silence, I think the courage that it takes to sit with what is not said. So for me, it's also a confirmation, that I am in the right space because around me, I don't have a lot of coaches, I do this full time. I'm a career coach at university, but I'm surrounded by some people that see it more, just as a job. For me, it's a purpose, it's a lifestyle, it's everything, So being able to join this kind of spaces and hearing directly from you, and I can tell even in the way you are smiling now and nodding, I can tell how much this means for you. So it's very inspiring. And it's also reassuring that I made the right choice, choosing that this was going to be my work. So thank you for the inspiration. And I'll be connecting with all of you. And I'm now finishing a master's in positive psychology and doing the research on coaching managers. So maybe we can follow up on that, Christelle, as well.
I would love that. Yes. We can try to do it in Spanish, but my Spanish is a bit rusty.
So thank you for
much
the lovely
your
conversation. Thank you for opening the space.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your reflections. So we are already over time. So if any of you are getting rushed up and have to jump into something else, please feel free to take your call, make your call there. And would any of you want to share anything else that we might discuss on? Else, maybe we can close the call for now. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the final question from all of you, and this time I'm adding Sharon, and Boria, along with Crystal and Rahul. So, what would be your one takeaway from this conversation today, in short, in about 30 seconds? What would be that one takeaway for you?
We mentioned Sharon. Sharon's sharing.
The wisdom is within the client, and to hold on to that.
Who wants to share next?
I can go. That real coaching happens when we don't show up as experts, but when we show up fully as humans and we are grounded and curious and we trust our gut and our intuition.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
What came up for me is that as a coach, one has to be comfortable and all right to work from a space of not knowing.
For me, it's, just listening to you, Rahul and Anindita, and Sharon and Borja sharing their thoughts, it's diversity. We're into the coaching world, but it's very diverse. We have different perception of it. We're going in different ways. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities basically for us as coaches and for clients. It's a very open world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, the ones who are off camera, if you want to type something, we are absolutely okay with that. You can type what's your takeaway from the session as well. But let me share mine. It is like all of you said. Sharon pointed out at the courage part that she took through her question. That definitely stands out a lot. And I would say, is about being as human as you can be, so human that you couldn't be more human. We are not human enough in general, but through coaching, being a coach or being a client, we just end up becoming very, very much more human and very skillfully human, very courageously human. We are making being human stylish again. So thank you. I hope we will be able to do that more and more as we go ahead in our journey. Thank you so much to all of you for being here. Please, folks, connect to us on LinkedIn. Stay in touch. We would love to. And we are done today. Do you have any other comments, Rahul, or anybody else? Crystal, Rahul, anybody else? Or else we can end here for today to begin another journey some other day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Anindita, just before we close, would it be okay if we share our LinkedIn profile so that they can stay in touch with us? We can be in touch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just looking for my LinkedIn to copy paste directly in there.
I have it here, Christelle. I'll put it. Don't worry.
I'm putting it to. Okay.
I just put yours.
Thank you.
Chat box.
Thank you very much.
This is
Thank you very much
mine.
for attending and for asking your questions. Have a good day or a good evening, depending where you are.
Have a great day, all of you.
Thank you. Have a great
so
day.
much.
Crystal left.
Yeah.
Hey, success. We did well.
Thank you, Rahul. I love that joy in you. So let's end the call here.
Okay.